In this video, I want to show you how to build a easy buttercream cake with just a screen print of Spider-Man and some pre-made decorations. We start off with a 20 centimeter chocolate cake. I'm just using my buttercream to build a little rim around the cake so that my filling won't spill out. Add my filling and smooth that out, and then we are ready for our second layer. We are then repeating this step, making sure the cake is right in the middle and level with the first layer. Again, just giving us a little bit of a wall so that our filling won't spill out as usual. Again, we will smooth that out so that our third layer will just fit onto that cake perfectly. Get eye level with your cakes to make sure they are even and level all around. This cake is traveling, so I added some dowels, and now I'm just going to add a thin layer of frosting right around my cake for a little crumb coat to keep that pesky crumbs from coming into our final layer. As you can see, it comes off from the spatula there, and that's what we want to prevent on the final layer. At some point you will notice the cake ended up being a little bit lopsided, and that is the magic where my cake discs come in later and scrapers come in later. That helps so much with evening out a cake and making it level with the help of some frosting. Sometimes that happens when you put the dowels in, your cake goes a little bit to the side, but it's never the end of the world. So I'm just bringing that frosting to on the top, just to the middle, to smooth out my cake. Now this is going into the fridge for about 20 minutes or so, just to firm up, so we can put that cake disc right on top to add our final layer of frosting. While the cake is in the fridge, I am going to cut out my screen prints. I have a little Spider-Man there, and he is going to be perfect for in front, and the big spider I am actually going to use as a cake topper. These days I've noticed that screen prints really save me a lot of time, and the picture is just so much more accurate than trying to build it out of fondant. There's also a lot of people that doesn't like the taste of fondant, me included, so I'll rather take the screen print and pay a little extra. I don't even know if it is extra, and put those on my cake. Little bit of cutting out work there, but in the end they do just make the cake so much prettier. When I'm done with my Spider-Man, I will continue with the spider. Now for the spider to make as a cake topper, I will definitely have to use some fondant, and I will be adding some CMC powder, or there's a few names for that. It's just a powder that makes your fondant a little bit harder. You will see me adding quite a lot of it because I was pressed for time. I just take my fondant, roll it out a little, just to make it easy and firm to work with, and then adding that CMC to make sure that my fondant gets really hard and it will stand up to be able to be a cake topper in the end. As you can see, I'm just kneading that in, always forgetting my gloves when working with red and black fondant. Right now I'm just placing the whole screen print right on top with a little bit of water beneath to press it on lightly, and then just take a little knife and cut all of the excess. And I decided I want to cut out the whole spider so that just the legs will stand out, and so I don't have all of those white pieces. This might take a little time, and it's a little bit of fragile work because it might break, but I recommend leaving this overnight just to help you firm up, and it will work perfectly. Taking the time with these fondant pieces are so worth it. in the end you will see the cake really gives a 3D effect, and I have to admit the little boy's face was so amazing to see. I mean, that is exactly why we do what we do, to get those little faces sparkle and smile when they see the cakes for the first time. Now you really don't have to do all of it. I literally just did a few of those legs to stand out and get those white pieces out, because you're going to have to use some dowels or some skewers or sticks just to press inside of the fondant. So you're going to have a little piece of fondant somewhere for the Spider-Man to just stand up a little. Just continue to work. Have patience with this. If you do this too fast, you will end up breaking, and if you only have one screen print, I mean, you will end up being very sad. So I decided that was quite enough, and in my next step I will add my little skewers inside, just taking out a little bit more of that white to get that effect. As you can see, they're still white inside, but that doesn't really matter because it's not going to be the main focus, but it will look very pretty on your cake. So in the next step, we're grabbing our cake and we're going to put that final frosting layer right around. A little cleanup. As you can see, I always forget to put on gloves. I would recommend putting on gloves, especially working with black fondant and red fondant. They do seem to stay in your hands quite a bit. Okay, so it's time to do our final layer on our cake. I'll take it out of the fridge and it's firm to the touch. Now I'm placing my cake disc right in the middle and starting at the bottom, working my way up, adding a thick layer of frosting. Just making sure that cake disc is in the middle so our frosting on all the sides will be even. It really is so pretty when you cut into a cake and you get those frosting sides and you see those buttercream being the perfect layers. The next step, I'm using my spatula just to smooth out the sides and then getting my frosting again to fill in any holes and pieces there that might not be filled up evenly. Just continue to work your way around the cake. You'll definitely see that I'm just adding a darker color now to get a contrast on that frosting. And then in my next step, I will start using my scraper. I just use acrylic disc scrapers. They are available on my online shop as well. But they help so much. As you can see, the cake is still a little bit lopsided, but as soon as I use my cake scraper, I'll be able to get my cake a little bit more even, as it will take off all of the frosting and excess that is not needed. And you can build that up so easily to help your cake just a little bit. I mean, mishaps happens all the time. Just continue to work around your cake. And then for buttercream cakes, what I love to do is place my spatula inside some boiling water or even hot milk and just go around my cake and give it an even and smooth line around. Taking off my cake disc using a hot paring knife, and now you can see that beautiful sharp edge the cake disc provide. I'm filling in my top and smoothing out with my little spatula. Again, I would just go in with a little bit of hot water to get a smooth finish and that perfect sharp edge. That is exactly what I want. I will bring in the sides on the top, and in our next step we will start to decorate. We will start with our Spider-Man screen print and place it right in front. Yes, I'm still just very accurate in working that. I love having my sides very smooth and take quite a lot of time to make sure that they are perfect. I mean, the love you put in a cake will be exactly what they taste as well. Okay, there we go. Our little Spider-Man is up and you guys can now see the 3D effect I was talking about. Putting little fondant spiders I made earlier. You can make those in advance and keep them aside, and you'll always have those on hand. And I have some spider webs as well that I just placed onto some skewer sticks to give a little dimension. There we go. There's our cake topper, and how amazing does that look. You're just giving your cake so much depth and contrast and life to it. And I thought that it might need something more, and I grabbed one of my nozzles. It's one of my favorite ones, also available in my shop, and some bright red frosting, and just placed dots all over my cake, and it absolutely finished up that cake beautifully. Always add a little glitter to give it a little shine, and once you are happy, you have a most beautiful, easy Spider-Man cake. I think that was quite easy. Please let me know in the comments what you think about it. Thank you for watching.